Hi, everyone. I'm Anne-Marie Green.
And I'm Vladimir Gutierrez. Thank you so much for joining us. The survivors of the deadly school shooting in Florida say they're turning their anger into action as they try to prevent another tragedy.
Tonight, we're seeing haunting images from inside empty freshman classrooms of Stoneman Douglas High School.
There are 17 people whose lives are lost who can't take action. So they're here, they survived, they feel a responsibility, a huge burden for these young people to do something.
This year, more people have been killed in school shootings than members of the military have been killed while serving.
I shouldn't be going through this at my school.
Today, 4 more students were laid to rest.
At least 17 people have been killed, students and adults. At least 15 injured, and the shooter, 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, is in custody.
A generation that knows no matter how forcefully they chant never again, their experience suggests it most probably will.
Holy.
On right now is a slippery slope that we're getting to the bottom of. This needs to be where we stop and we start to stand up.
This has been a day we've seen the worst in humanity. Tomorrow is going to bring out the best in humanity as we come together to move forward from this unspeakable tragedy.
In 2018, there have been 82 school shooting incidents in the U.S.
The highest there have been since 1970.
There have been 1,300 school shootings since 1970.
In 861 incidents, the shooter targeted specific victims.
More than 219,000 students have experienced gun violence at school since the Columbine shooting.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High, 17 killed, 14 injured.
Santa Fe High School, 10 killed, 13 injured. Columbine High School, 13 killed, 24 injured.
Sandy Hook Elementary, 27 killed, 2 injured.
Virginia Tech, 33 killed, 23 injured.
Lockdown isn't just a staged reading.
It's a way for our voices to be heard.
We started with one simple question.
Have you ever experienced a real lockdown?
Yes.
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 Yes, I have experienced a real lockdown.
I've experienced, I think, 3.
No.
I have not.
Not really. I haven't.
Not one that was like intruder related.
The worst lockdown experience that I've had was I was in 6th grade and we were locked in the hallway and we weren't told what was going on at all. I can remember her looking at us and just saying that, everything that you know, everything that you have can be taken away in a second.
We were in a lockdown. There was some kind of shooting near the theater and helicopters were circling and there were police outside and nobody knew.
I was like crying and praying because I have really bad anxiety.
And I was just looking up, and I'm not religious, I didn't know what to pray to. I was really, really scared.
And so we pretty much broke down. We both were freaking out and crying.
I collapsed. I didn't know what to do. It was just kind of shocking, and I just blacked out. I didn't know what was going on.
I just remember they tried to put us all in the jungle gym thing that we had, and we were just all really quiet. It was about 15 minutes, the police showed up and he got taken away.
And how would your lockdown drills go when you're in class?
It really depends on the class I'm in.
Well, here, our lockdown drills are kind of a joke. Teachers will pull the blinds down on the door or the paper, and then they'll continue about their lesson and do their normal thing.
There isn't any, but I think the teachers know what to do, because I asked one of them. He said, yeah, there's something. Don't worry about it.
It really depends on the class. So some teachers are really serious about it and they tell us what to do. But then some teachers just kind of sit and still teach.
They close the door and they lock the door and they start teaching again. And some of the kids get on their phones and laugh, and some of the kids have anxiety attacks.
We usually turn off all the lights, close the shutters, lock the door, move the teacher's desk to in front of the door, and then we all get into a corner.
Most teachers have different procedures. Most of the time we cover the windows, and if there's a window on the door, we cover that, we lock the door, and we get away from glass.
What they used to do is they would like jiggle their hands on the doorknobs, knock on the doors, like open the doors. For some of them, they would open the doors if the door wasn't locked.
Mm-hmm.
That was scary.
Do you feel safe when you're at school?
I thought I did for a really long time, but no, because you never know what people are gonna do, and you can't control other people and what they're thinking, and you never know what they're thinking, and it's really hard to trust people nowadays.
When I'm at school, I feel safe to an extent.
Sometimes yes, but when I start to think about the possibilities of what could happen, definitely not.
Honestly, I do, but deep down, I think it's because pretty much all of us have this complex where whenever we see all these shootings happening, we believe, oh, that couldn't happen at Baton Rouge High. That couldn't be one of us. But at the same time, you never know.
I do feel pretty safe.
It depends on which class I'm in.
If I really think about it and what could happen, it's not safe, but I don't think people really think about that until it does happen, until they do have to think about it.
Yeah, I think I feel safe when I'm at school, yeah.
No. Even when I was in elementary school and I barely knew what guns were, I never felt safe.
No. Like, it's not something you really think about, but when I do think about it, like, there's too many ways to get into school.
Absolutely not. After that experience in 6th grade, I'm always, looking over my shoulder. Anything and everything makes me nervous.
What do you think could be done that would make you feel safer?
Gun control.
Between a police officer or some kind of armed guard, I think I'd feel safer or more safe than I already feel.
One of my teachers last year talked about getting fire extinguishers in all of the classrooms, because then not only does that help the issue of fire safety, it also can be used as a weapon to hit an intruder or to confuse an intruder until they can be contained.
There's very different ways you can do it. You can arm teachers. That would make some kids feel safe, but that makes some kids feel unsafe, because then you know that guns are on campus. My personal belief is the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Like, I understand the thing of, like, good guys fighting off bad guys with guns, but at the same time, like, you wouldn't need to fight off someone with a gun if they didn't have the gun in the first place. And that's not like taking away all guns, but just like regulating them.
I think it is a delicate issue and it's complicated, and there isn't a simple solution because people do have rights and no one wants to take away everyone's guns, everyone's weapons.
But this doesn't just affect us. We also interviewed the ordinary people who are responsible for protecting us. The people we trust with our lives.
The people we trust with our children's lives.
You're not just afraid of whatever this impending situation is, which most of the time you don't know what it is, but you are the one who's responsible for all the children in the room, and that's a big responsibility.
I am a firm believer in the Second Amendment. I am a gun owner, and yet it bothers me when violence occurs in a school and the first reaction of many people is that they're worried that somebody's gonna that they don't want to do anything about the epidemic because they're worried somebody's gonna take their guns. I want my children protected more than my guns. And it was a different world back then.
I never considered the possibility that something like that might happen. To be quite honest, there was free access to the school and the parking lots. There weren't gates the way that we have now. I don't believe that the doors to the buildings were locked. It was just a completely different time.
So please, if you see something, say something. We are the change that this country needs right now.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.